public side of things into the private side of things. In the public side, there's going to be power of attorneys, authorized representatives. In the private side, we're going to have authorized representatives and personal representatives. You must have both in order to work with the straw man and how we're working out there. And this is one of the things that we've been developing and working on too. So it's always you have to address both sides, the private and the public. So you will see in our documents and things we do, the private is always just the first letter capitalized, whereas the public, of course, in any capacity, is always fully capitalized. The ledgers must be balanced. Everything that's going on out here that almost every one of you are dealing with is because somebody isn't balancing the books. It all goes back to balancing the books. So whether it's a mortgage issue or a prisoner issue or a traffic ticket issue or a credit card issue or any dealings that deal in the commercial realm, it's always about balancing the books. And that's where we will look as time goes on and trade more on 1040Bs. So we don't do a whole lot of tax work here. That's not our specialty. There are some fantastic people out there who do work in taxes, and they're available on the internet. If you know of some, let us know so we can pass it on. So this is the kind of things we work with our specialty in trying to get the education and the information out there on a broad range, not just in one or two special areas. So let us know on specialty areas that we may not be covering in our stuff that you think would be of asset. So as we go along here, basically what you're looking here at, that what we're talking about now, that justice is blind, and you must move to be seen by Rome. Right now, the reason they will not recognize you in any court, they're not recognizing you at all, is because you are deemed as being incompetent. So you are not competent enough to take care of your own business. You're not competent enough to respond out in the commerce in the world as you need to. So therefore, because they've deemed you as incompetent, they didn't tell you that, by the way. It was their secret. You didn't even know you needed to prove your competency. They've done this with us since our birth and the birth of our children and etc. It moves around, up and down, okay? But the bottom line is that at this point, you're deemed incompetent in the eyes of Rome. Right now, that's the only eyes that count out there. So if we step back and we look at this, how do we become seen as being competent? This has nothing to do with how smart you are, how educated you are, how uneducated you are, what age you are. It has nothing to do with that at all. It basically, we are incompetent because they didn't tell us, they wrapped us up and tied us up into this huge system of commerce and created all of these trusts to steal the benefits we go to work for every day and that are ours by divine right. And because they didn't tell us and we didn't know to go fix it or claim it, then we are deemed as being incompetent. So as we step up and start to take control and apply things in the world to establish our competency, that's where we have to do all of these moves with the divine wills and indeeds, the UCC filings that we have done with on the straw man, the tort claim, status of merit, ISA program, all of this we have to go through to take back the rights that they stole from us. I wish there was a shorter, better way. If you know one, let me know. Because at this point, this is what everyone that I know of in the industry is discussing, is how to go about this. Some people have been very successful at parts of it. Some people have not. It works differently. Every county is different. Every state is different. Every judge is different. Every prosecutor is different. Every attorney's different. Every court's different. It just goes on and on and on. So what works for you one time or someone for one time will not work the next time or for the next person that does it exactly the same. And this is one of the reasons that we are so animate about presenting you with these webinars, to try and give you a bigger, broader information so that you can start to really understand and do these processes and understanding of the day-to-day work that you need to be aware of. There is no reason with the proper training here and the right understanding of what's going on and what we do here that you all should not have plenty of funds to assign your bills against. Okay, now it's not going to pay your monthly rent, but you can pay off credit cards. They're not legal anyway, but this just gives you, instead of just doing the acceptance for value, which we do the offers and acceptance, I do them every day. I own my own bills. But when they come back again, oh, well, then I start to step in a little different direction. So there's a lot of things that we want to work with and teach you how to be able to stand and move. But you got to have the understanding, not just my words or somebody else's words or what somebody else says for you to say. This needs to come out of your gut and your knowing and your understanding of your divine status and your sovereign authority. So we know that they are out there publicly trading off our benefit, publicly trading you as bonds, publicly trading our prisoners, etc., etc. We get that, all right? So as we move along, you need to understand that too. You are nothing but a commodity. And as you understand that that straw man is nothing in their eyes but a commodity, you understand why they are making it so difficult for us to discover and get back all these KSTV trusts and everything that they've done with the higher estates and what happened when you were born and what they did with you in the capital name. They do not want to give this commerce up. They're having a good time moving a lot of publicly traded benefits around out there, making a lot of money off of them, and you don't even know it. So when we step in and start to develop processes and the industry starts stepping up to take control of these back, they're going to bark and wiggle. They're going to want to try and find new ways to sidestep them. They're going to ignore your stuff. It doesn't mean that it's not there and it's not real. They're just going to choose to ignore a lot of it. So it's okay. We don't expect them to respond. We don't need their response. In fact, their non-response is their tacit acquiescence to the agreement. Please don't, But if you do, here's how you've got to do it. So what you're going to continue on here as we work on through this. This basically, what you're looking at now is just a few pages of the Tort workbook. And you can understand as we move forward through it, what makes things go on and what things look at. Now we go through a little bit in here of a title plant. Okay? The title plant is where they take, it's everywhere. And you just didn't know what title plant meant. And the definition is hard to find out there. Okay? So understand that these are undisclosed people who use your name. Let's say your name is Susie Jean Smith. Well, they take your name and they make it Sue J. Smith. This, of course, is in all caps. And they take it out there, and that is called the title plant. And they use that name. We have had people who have contacted us and told us that they got a hold of their original Social Security accounts, and there was over 1,600 names on that account. Huge amounts of variations of their name, but then a whole bunch of names that weren't even their name. They're just tagging them on everywhere. Anybody who knows how to grab those is grabbing QSIP, and they're doing all of that. Now, QSIP is a word we're going to need as we go along, and that's a word you should add to your vocabulary. And that's capital C, capital U, capital S, capital I, capital